Here goes. I'm going to do the best I can and try to get through this without exploding my emotions here. My name is Nate Horsman. I live at 2550 State Highway 248, Branson, Missouri. Good evening, Mr. Mayor, council members, and citizens of Branson. I hope that after walking out of here in April, I would never have to enter these chambers again. I cannot say that I have missed you, and I doubt that very seriously that you have missed me either. I am here today to once again highlight the severity of the situation of COVID in our community and ask, basically beg for your help. The current situation we find ourselves in is dire and it requires immediate attention. It is my hope that you will listen to my words, take them to heart, and work with us to once again stave off the spread of this virus in our community. We have to do something. We can no longer pretend that this is not happening, and we can no longer ignore the fact that Branson is worse off now than we were during the worst parts of the pandemic. This is a plea for help, action, and leadership. I'm going to preface this by saying that I am not addressing Alderman Skanes, Say, or Whitus. I am addressing you, Mr. Mayor, and Aldermans Cooper, Denham, and Fenton. You all got what you wanted. The mask mandate is gone. That ship has sailed. But this virus is not, and the Delta variant is ravishing our community. Our neighbors are getting sicker at a faster rate than ever, and our people are still dying, and we must band together once and for all and act, or we are not going to have much of a community left. We tried it your way, and your way is not working. Your decision to lift the mandate with no safety net in place has only exacerbated the situation. I know you will disagree, but facts are facts, and data is data, and the data says otherwise. So let me once again start with some facts. Fact, the CDC currently shows Taney County as red or high transmission, meaning that we are at or over 100 new cases per 100,000 persons in the last 7 days. Sorry, Mr. Mayor, I stole that statistic from your most recent mayor's moment. Taney County is averaging between 22 and 30 plus cases a day. Those numbers are on par with the worst days of the pandemic before vaccines were readily available, and it is my belief that those numbers are even higher than what is being reported for various reasons. But let's stick with the data that we have available to us from the Missouri Department of Health and Human Services, the Taney County Health Department, and our local hospitals. Fact, Taney County is a coronavirus hotspot and super spreader area, as is much of southwest Missouri, but our tourism makes us unique, and it's ultimately worse here because not only are a larger amount of our locals being infected with the Delta variant, our tourists are coming here and taking it back to their communities, and that makes us a regional and national super spreader. Who knows what we are contributing to the spread throughout the rest of the country? Fact, an average of 1 in 9 residents of Taney County have been infected with this virus since the pandemic began. That is nearly 10% of our population of this county. We are averaging well over 100 new cases a week, 129 in the past 4 days to be exact. That number is unacceptable. Fact, 108 and counting of our neighbors have died from this virus in less than a year and a half. That number should also be unacceptable to anyone with a caring heart. Fact, there are currently 127 patients admitted throughout Cox system, and since June 30th, 30 of those patients are from Taney County, and that is not counting the number of patients admitted at Mercy. These patients are younger, they're sicker, and they're unvaccinated. Fact, more than 99% of hospitalizations here and nationwide are unvaccinated people. Fact, out of 100,000 plus vaccines that have been administered throughout Cox Health, one person has required hospitalization and they went home a few hours later. I'm gonna sip of water here. Excuse me. The current positivity rate in Taney County is 20%, and it has been as high as 22% in the past couple of weeks. Just over 30%, of Taney County residents have initiated vaccine, and 25% of residents are fully vaccinated. The national average is 54%. That have initiated vaccine, and 45% of the population that has completed vaccination. As of yesterday, Taney County was number 5 out of 3,143 counties in the entire United States for our daily COVID case numbers, and that to anyone living in this area should also be unacceptable. The bottom line is we're in a very bad way here in the Ozarks, and it's only July. We have to do something. The entire nation and even the world's eyes are once again upon us. Is that what we really want? Is that acceptable to any of you? We have been all over the national press. Even you, Mr. Mayor, were personally called out in Bloomberg magazine And we have even been the brunt of jokes on late night television this week. I doubt any of you are enjoying that. I know I am not. Is this what we really want after the last year and a half of national press? I mean, come on, what are we doing here? The White House coronavirus response teams are starting to arrive in the area. Our hospitals are full and understaffed to the point Steve Edwards had to put out a national plea for help last week, and thankfully, they have been able to bring in an extra 141 traveling nurses and respiratory therapists to help ease the workload from our local healthcare workers. Our healthcare heroes are tired. They are frustrated, yet they continue to battle this virus on the front lines. I read their testimonies and their pleas for help almost daily. They are getting basically no support from our local leaders and our state representative, who, along with our governor, just recently attacked the federal government with baseless and unfactual accusations. No one from the federal government is coming door to door to force vaccinations on anyone, and as some have claimed, they are coming to take our guns too. Personally, I'm not worried about anybody coming to take my guns. Anyway, they simply ask that local leaders, along with the community leaders and faith leaders, join together to help one another and assist in helping our communities stop this virus from continuously and rapidly spreading. We have to help them help us get through this. The conspiracy theories have all been disproven, the lies and the false information have all been debunked, and vaccines are the only way out of this. It's time for everyone to embrace the reality that we are faced with and work together to solve the problem. Vaccines are the only way. I know everyone cannot be vaccinated for one reason or another, but those that can should and be encouraged to do so by anyone with a voice. Alderman Cooper has asked me privately, and I have seen him state it publicly as well. What do you think the leaders of this community can do? The vaccine has been available for months, and everybody in the world already knows it. So me or anyone else telling someone to get the vaccine is not going to change their minds at this point. People have made their minds up. They are going to get it or they are not. This is a personal responsibility situation, and everybody has a right to make their own decisions. I cannot tell someone to get a COVID shot or to not get one. I understand that, and you're correct, Clay. You nor anyone else can tell anyone to do anything, and that is not what I am pleading for you all to do. What you and Larry and many other people of all facets of leadership in this community can do is simply acknowledge the science, embrace the facts, and encourage people that the vaccines are safe, that they are effective, and they are the only way out of this friggin' mess. I know you all are intelligent, rational thinking people. You are city leaders and business owners. I'm just a career restaurant server with an 11th grade education who is now driving Uber and Lyft just to pay the bills because you couldn't pay me enough to re-enter the service industry in this town right now. The horror stories I've been hearing from my people on the front lines have kept me from going back, and it's happening all over town in all sorts of businesses. COVID is not the only thing ravishing our community. The lack of workers has had a huge impact on this season, but Branson is still busy as ever, and the tourist dollars are still flowing. But at what cost to our people? Businesses all over town have been forced to close due to COVID outbreaks. Recently, even yours, Mr. Mayor. Almost daily, I get messages about this business or that business having 1, 4, 7, 12, 16 employees out with COVID, which is forcing businesses to close for even days and half days. Businesses have temporarily shuttered due to lack of workers, and this is not normal. This is not the Branson that I have lived and worked in for 23 years. COVID is not the only crisis, but COVID is the cause of it. And if we don't act now and work together, it's only going to get worse before it gets better as the season progresses. I mean, how much worse can it get? Yes, summer is busy and the town has been packed, but what's going to happen this fall if we are still in the same boat we are in right now? I know you hated the masks, so did I. This is not masks. This is a way out. This is the only way out. This is our shot to return to normalcy around here. It is not what we want. Is that not what we all want to get back to, normalcy? Together we have to stomp out the bad stigma we are getting. We have to beat back the nonsense and the false information, and we have to make it known that disparaging our health department and our healthcare workers is unacceptable. Alderman Denham recently attacked the health department and accused them of, how did you state it, being irresponsible and at worst fear-mongering, stating that there has been a recent increase in cases in Taney County, but sharing that fact without the numbers or the context for the cases seemed irresponsible. You also stated that a recent press release from the health department directly attributed the rise in cases to lifting of mask mandates and social distancing requirements. Excuse me. I find this assumption to lack a scientific basis. Well, the facts are masks kept the numbers low last year, and also this year after our busiest spring break in years. It was only after the mandate was lifted that the numbers started going up, and Branson exploded from there. So yes, the mask mandate has everything to do with it, and if you look at the graph on any of the state and county dashboards, the trajectory of cases from April 13th to now looks like this. Just like that. So Alderman Denham, facts are facts and data is data, and speaking the truth is not fear-mongering, and being in the position you are in, you can pick up the phone at any time and call pretty much anyone you want and get all the data and the facts that you need. Attacking the people who are doing their ever-loving best to get us through this is ludicrous, and you should be ashamed of yourself and publicly apologize to Lisa Marshall and Taney County Health Department for your public comments. There's been way too much of this nonsense the past year and a half. Since when do we disparage and attack the people that are doing their best to keep people informed and healthy? The ones on the front lines battling every day to prevent sickness and death. Again, what are we doing here? The past is the past, and there's no going back. All we have is the present and the future, and we need to work together to figure a way out of this. This community needs you all, and it needs vocal support from its business owners and faith leaders that if you are able to be vaccinated, please get vaccinated. I also propose we find a way to reach out to the Hispanic community around here and bring them into the fold by translating factual information and vaccine encouragement, because after hearing from my friend Anna, who I might add herself has been battling this virus for the better part of a month, and quite frankly, she's not doing very well. She informed me that there really isn't a good platform for non-English speaking people to absorb the information needed to make informed decisions. Hopefully we can find a way to help them as well. I don't know what to do anymore. All I could think of to do is come back here and highlight the situation again and plea for some help. This community needs its leaders to stop trying to sweep all of this under the proverbial rug and stop pretending that we are not still in a crisis. We are the crisis. We are the national hotspot. I don't want to stand up here and say, I told you so, but I knew this is exactly what would happen. It was inevitable, and now here we are, right back in the thick of it. We were doing so well before the mandate was lifted and the tourist season got here. We were averaging about 5 cases a week, and the trajectory we are on now shows in the upcoming days and weeks that we will be averaging about 150 or more cases a week, and that is not sustainable. We are already being forced to ship COVID patients out of state, and Steve Edwards just the other day stated that the projections for the week of July 19th range from 153 to 178 COVID patients, and that is likely well beyond our capability. Delta is so highly transmissible, if not vaccinated, you are at tremendous risk. These are also facts. We are in a desperate situation, but one we cannot pull ourselves out of if we all work together. That is what communities do. They do not tear each other apart. Everyone believes that Branson is some tight-knit Christian community who cares about its people and the tourists that visit here, and it's long past time we start acting like it. Clay Cooper stated when speaking in favor of the shutdown last year, and I'm paraphrasing here, I couldn't find the video to get the actual quote, "If we don't do this, we are going to look like the stupid hillbillies that some people think we are." Well, unfortunately and sadly, that is exactly what we look like right now. Stupid hillbillies that cannot take care of ourselves. But this time, the eyes of the nation and the world are directly upon us. Little old Taney County, Missouri. Let's show the world that this is not who we are. What good are freedom and rights and liberty if we are too sick to enjoy them, or God forbid, dead? You all have no idea how much of an impact you could make if you would just step up. Local leaders all over the nation are doing it. You guys have just chosen not to because you're afraid of upsetting or scaring a bunch of people that live around here that voted for you. There are people of all walks of life in this community, and it's time to govern them as all of the people, not just we the people. We have to do something. Time is running out. COVID in our community is like a tornado sitting in one place, destroying everything in its path and leaving a city in shambles. But in this case, it is our people who are suffering. Thank you for your time and letting me speak. I will now leave you with a quote from Coretta Scott King. "The greatness of a community is most accurately measured by the compassionate actions of its members."